Live from the sewers, this is the Turtle Power Podcast.
This is your audio source for all the news, reviews, and insight into the world of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
God, I love being a turtle!
Now join your hosts, Brian, Alex,
Awesome!
and Darby.
Bossa Nova!
Bossa Nova?
Chevy Nova? Excellent!
Now it's time for the Turtle Power Podcast.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. If you hear sounds of cars and trucks going by, that would be the sweet sounds of Florida State Road 417, because I am outside on my patio because I've been kicked out of the house, not permanently, just for the evening, because the baby's asleep, wife's asleep, in-laws are asleep, but I could not miss out on recording another episode of the Turtle Power Podcast with my good buddy, Alex. He's back. How are you, man?
Not too shabby. I'm reading. So I'm reading I don't know if y'all remember the Random House, the TMNT Storybook Adventures.
Oh yeah.
Right. It was produced by Mirage, and so I'm reading the Magic Crystal, and I'm looking through this, and it's ridiculous anyway, because it's meant to be ridiculous, but there's a scene in here where Raph has a towel around him because he just took a shower, and I'm just wondering why he has a towel around him, because they're naked anyway.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yes. That's fantastic. You need to take a picture of this and send this to me. We're going to include that in the artwork for this episode.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And a great way to start off the show.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the title of this episode. Why is Raph wearing a towel? Yes, it is Alex and Ryan. We are back with another episode. Darby, unfortunately, not able to join us once again. He once again was called into work this evening.
He's filth.
I mean, that maybe a little harsh there.
Yeah, well, he's filth.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, either way, I mean, that's he's a big member of the West 2, no, WBBH. I don't even remember what the call sign is. Down in Fort Myers, Florida, NBC2 down there. So, so he's doing a good job down there, and we wish him the best, and we look forward to having him back on the show at some point. So yeah,
I'm yawning with displeasure. Let's go. What do we got?
You also did mention the fact that the two guys with kids are the ones with babies, nonetheless, are the ones that are making it here for the show.
Yeah, we have day jobs. He has 9 jobs. I get it. It's fine. All right. NECA 1990 70 or 7-inch scale TMNT. That looks like the first thing in the show. No, it looks like you acquired that. Let's talk about it.
All right, let us talk about it. Yeah, we talked about this in the past, and the orders finally came in, and I have them at my desk at work. Kennedy Space Center. I am recently convert. I am now a full-fledged NASA employee. Previously was a contractor, so now I'm a full-fledged.
You waited till after the shutdown.
That's right. Actually, that was the weird part. It was like all my paperwork was held up because of the shutdown. So finally all went through, and was able to return back to work, and So they look fantastic. Obviously, I mean, the pictures have been all over the internet. But we'll talk about some more NECA releases here once we get into the collecting section. I did get one other new acquisition, and new in air quotes.
Where the hell are you putting this shit? Well, I guess that one's going into Kennedy, but Space Center. But where the hell are you putting all these acquisitions?
Oh,
you have no space anymore.
No, that's true. So, right, longtime listeners remember that I used to have an entire game room, which Alex was very fond of. I think you may have had a little bit of some sort of body movement.
That's because I lost mine. Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, but
mine was commandeered.
I think it was the Power Rangers. I think that's really what kind of put you over the edge.
Gas.
When you were in there.
It was the Power Rangers.
I did but remember I had my puzzle hung up in there too.
Oh yeah. The puzzle that I made you for something. Was it my wedding?
Dude, I freaking cried when you gave that to me. Like that
was pretty.
That hit me in the feels.
That's what I do.
All the feels.
That's what I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember why I gave it to you though. Was it your birthday or was it because of my wedding? I don't remember.
I feel like it was wedding.
Sounds right.
I feel. I'm still trying to figure out why you gave me a gift for your wedding, but I think it was best man. It was yeah, right. Yeah, it was that all that stuff. Yes, that was
for sure. We'll go with that.
I still wear my shoes. I don't know if you know that.
I still wear my shoes.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those for the listeners who weren't there at Alex's wedding, he had custom shoes made for all the dudes. They're Converses. So,
yeah, by my own design because I'm so creative.
You're like that. And it has the date on it?
Yeah, it does have the date on it, so that way you can never forget that those were the shoes that I designed and my wedding. So you will never forget my wedding, so I will never forget my wedding. All I have to do is look at my shoes.
I have to imagine you probably wear yours more than I do, though.
I don't, for fear that the date will eventually and I'll forget one day.
Well, that's good. That's good thinking. It's thinking ahead, really, is what that is. So
that's what I do. You know.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a certain amount of sentimental value with them for me as well. So, you know, I try not to.
Yeah, I saw the couplings from. I got you what, Boba Fett? I got Boba Fett.
My cufflinks. Right? Oh yeah, those are legit, man.
Yeah, those are good stuff.
So everything goes to work now. All my collectible, anything new that obviously I don't have as much room because I don't have a full office. I have a cubicle, but it's a pretty big cubicle. So all my new stuff and stuff that I want to show, old stuff or whatever. Yeah, it all goes there. Which I'm not alone. There's you can tell several of the other dudes that have had their collections kicked out of the house. So it's a good spot for it. But yeah, so this next acquisition I got, not necessarily for me, but I was listening to an interview on one of the other Turtle podcasts, and I'll mention it at the end of the show, but I heard about this and I was like, oh my God, I remember this book. And of course I don't have it anymore, but I was able to find one on eBay for like $3.25 or whatever, and it's in pretty good shape. And this is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ABCs for a Better Planet. And so they go through, because this is really for my daughter, but it just goes through the alphabet, and then each letter corresponds to something.
I remember this.
Yeah. So A is for acid rain, and Z is for zoos, and zoos are a good thing because it teaches people about animals and appreciation for animals, and it also zoos are used for making more animals, that could be released out into the wild. Those are very technical terms. My wife is the expert in this field, not me. So
I feel like these were considering the time, like the Fishy Adventure and Magic Crystal that I have. They were released in 1990, which I have to imagine, based on the artwork, that's about the time that the ABCs for A Better Planet probably came out.
Yeah, man, you're like right on. This came out in 91, so yeah, right in the same time frame. And I would say too, like this was, I don't know if I would say before its time, but they go in depth on some pretty hardcore environmental topics in here, and stuff that we as humanity are still dealing with today. So, and of course, this was also during that time frame when the Turtles were really into environmentality.
Well, that was a whole push.
The Archie Adventures series and everything, yeah.
Not even just Turtles though. I mean, even, like Captain Planet was doing his thing, but like
Captain Planet,
bunch of other
Earth Day
cartoons
was really
like
getting really popular down in this time frame.
Yeah,
absolutely. So that's those were my recent acquisitions. Did you get anything else?
No, it makes you feel old. The Magic Crystal and Fishy Adventures that I got, I got them at an antique store. But
you like these antique stores? You find some good stuff there.
Dude, I love antique shops, but they were 75 cents a piece, which in like solid condition. Like these are things that I'm going to be able to these are good first books for Eva. Like I say first books. These damn things. I'm looking through them and I'm talking like paragraphs upon paragraphs each single page. Like these are not meant for like children, like small children. These are meant for like teenagers. These are basically comic books essentially, but I like the Magic Crystal one. Has a little tribute. The entire thing is basically just a tribute to Kirby.
Yeah, right.
Which is really sweet. Like he's actually in the book itself. So,
very cool.
But yeah, 75 cents a piece, man. Solid little find.
Dude, can't beat that.
Nope.
Even though Darby's not here, I'd be remiss to not mention a tweet that he sent out from our at TMNT podcast account, and he gave a shout out to you, saying, "Look what he found while cleaning around the house today." Do you remember these Leonardo action figures?
I still have the Samurai.
Yep. That was a classic.
Yeah, I have it in my bin that is beside my bed with my collectibles that I have nowhere to put. And the other, the Caveman Leo, I never owned it. I knew of it. I never owned it though. I never owned that one.
Right, but that is the interesting thing. And why is it that us, like I don't know, first generation Turtle fans? I don't know is that a thing? Can we call that a thing?
Yeah, I think that's right.
We all were that way. We all were like, oh yeah, I didn't have that one, but of course I know of it. How did that happen?
Well, remember in the back of every single one of the boxes, they had a plethora of other action figures you can buy. And I used to stare at that religiously. Like I used to, that was like my bathroom reading material because it was. So like I'd take those in the back and I'd look through them and I would just like look at them and I'd pick the ones that I really wanted and then hope that I get them and whatever. So,
yeah, because definitely later on in the series, I mean, that back of those cards got ridiculous with how many action figures they had on the back of there. I mean,
it got crazy. There's no way to own them all.
No.
I mean, unless you're filthy rich and you were a legit collector at the time.
Yeah, at the time.
Yeah. So that's crazy. But that's the only reason I remember as many of the action figures as I remember, because I would look at the back of those cards all the time. All the time.
Yep. Well, let's see. With that, let's get into some quick news bites.
The authorities won't talk to us, but they might talk to a TV news reporter. How do I look?
Great.
General, April O'Neil, Channel 9 News. Channel 6 News.
So, what's with the getup? You a news reporter?
In another lifetime, maybe. This is April O'Neil, Channel 6 News.
April O'Neil, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
This is April O'Neil, Channel 3 News.
And you notice I didn't make you. I didn't throw it over to you for the.
Wasn't gonna do anything.
From the news deal that you are famous. Can I say you're famous for it?
It's not that you even make me. I'm my own man.
You are your own man. Yeah. Whatever. I do what I want. So, you remember us talking in the past about some Ninja Turtle themed like attractions? There was the one in the Mall of America, right? It was like the Nick Turtles themed one.
Yep.
Well, there's going to be a new theme park called the American Dream Mega Mall, and it's going to have a roller coaster, which will be Ninja Turtles themed. So basically, it seems like it's the same general concept of the one that was at the Mall of America up in, what was that, Minneapolis, I think?
Yeah.
So this is going to be in New Jersey, and so we're going to have another Ninja Turtles themed.
It's still not going to make anybody want to go to New Jersey. That's not going to bring the people in.
I mean, what's funny though is like the turtles themselves have made fun of New Jersey.
That's because they're New Yorkers.
They're from New York.
Like New Jersey is just like the redheaded stepchild.
They make fun of New Jersey, so it's funny that this is where this is going to be. But anyway, wanted to mention this. This is a really interesting article that our friends over at TeenageMutantNinjaTurtles.com put up, where 1986, that time Turtles taught karate, and basically what they did was they went through a series of different magazines, I guess is what you would maybe refer to these as. They look like they would be like comic books, but they're actually
this is how Splinter learned in the new movies.
Oh, this was it. See?
This was it.
Now it all makes sense. Oh man.
He's like, wow, there's already turtles in it, which makes it a billion times easier.
Wow, you know what? See, it was all meant to happen, just like that.
Yeah, it was like Turtles. Basically, what it was the remnants of Turtles Forever, which happened prior to that. This book was left there in that universe, in that multiverse, and he just happened to come upon it.
It all makes sense now. I gave that movie so much crap, and now it all makes sense.
It was ahead of its time.
He found these 1986 Solson publications, which were quote-unquote authorized training manuals starring the Ninja Turtles. It was only $2.25, and you could become a Ninja Master. So, obviously this had to have been what happened. So,
have you looked to see if these are even available to buy?
I have not. I have to imagine there were not that many of these made, but apparently it ran for 6 issues. So, I mean, they're out there somewhere, obviously, but they get pretty in depth in here. Teaching like sumo poses and Sai versus Bo, disarming an opponent. It gets pretty in depth. So, I mean, I would definitely be interested in thumbing through one of these. Found
them.
You already got it?
I found them. They're on eBay, and they're super affordable. Really?
Okay. All right. I might have to check these out then.
They have to be part of my collection. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. These look like fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Over at libertycruise.nyc, somebody there went through every single Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 87 series, right? The original animated series. They went through every single episode and documented the pizza toppings in every single episode, and they collected them all together. And I gotta say, there's some interesting combos here. There's So, episode 137.
There's very interesting.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah. I mean, it's all over the place. I mean, you got some that are pretty. I mean, basic that you're like, oh, actually, that might not be that bad. Like,
what's basic on here? Please explain.
So, like pepperoni and pickle. I could see somebody liking that. I don't like pickles.
The superhero for a day one.
Yeah.
Like
that's doable, I guess.
I think the slash one, the sausage and jelly beans, is not bad.
But then you get down here to the anchovy and banana. Like, you're in some dangerous territory there. The chocolate fudge, whipped cream, chili peppers, and sardines. You're going to be in trouble. I do notice that there are some certain toppings that show up a lot here, like whipped cream, marshmallows show up several times.
Sardines or anchovies, some type of salty fish.
Yeah, pickles do show up several times. Pepperoni shows up several times.
So does peanut butter, which is
chocolate fudge. Granola and licorice. I mean, does anyone like licorice?
Okay, what about the making a metalhead? Tea and toast on your pizza. I feel like the toast is
they're literally sprinkling tea leaves on top of it.
And chunks of toast.
They just take toast and they just crumble bits
some
off
of these,
it.
and like just the chocolate chip one is fine. It's like a dessert pizza. Like some of these can be dessert pizzas. But
yeah. So like there's the peanut butter and jelly with tuna. Like you don't need the tuna. Just do the peanut butter and jelly pizza. Like that would be. I mean, depending on what your sauce is. If that's just the sauce, if it's just peanut butter and jelly. See, I don't know if cheese would go good with that though.
Well, here's my problem. I feel like, and I appreciate it, Liberty Cruise, but what I don't appreciate is the lack of thoroughness, because I don't feel like you were thorough enough to really determine what the actual sauce was.
Right. Yeah.
So that's such a huge factor, because what if it is a dessert pizza and it's like a chocolate sauce? Then we're looking at this all wrong.
Yeah. That's a very good point. Very good point.
So, I don't know. But impressive that they were even able to put all this together.
Yeah. So take a look at this list. This is popcorn on pizza. That might not be too bad.
That's not too crazy. That's probably the most conservative one out of all of them.
Yeah. Let's see here. One that I don't actually have on our show notes, but I do want to mention, and maybe we can run through this in the future. But also over at TeenageMutantNinjaTurtles.com, they one of their writers over there, in celebration of the 35th anniversary of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles this year, they decided to rank 35 versions of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I do find it interesting that, like, at the bottom of the list, they had to really kind of stretch for a couple of these. 35 was the "We Wish You a Turtle Christmas" Turtles. The 34 was the Operation Blue Line Turtles, which was missing Michelangelo. This was for a California public transit VHS. I don't know if that really counts as being a separate. I don't know.
So this is all versions?
Yeah, all versions of the Turtles, right? So if you're thinking the Turtles multiverse, this would be, 35 of those in there. But they do have 33 is coming out of their Shells tour. That's, man, I feel like that's pretty low for, I don't know. That's way down there.
Well, all right.
I mean, I know it's not amazing, but that's almost the bottom of the barrel right there. So, but anyway,
I mean, I think what did it in for that is that moment on Oprah.
Yeah, they do have the 2014 movie Turtles at 28, so pretty close to the. It's in the bottom pack here. So, but yeah,
I feel Next Mutation should have been in a solid 35.
Yeah, Yeah. I mean, it is down here. It's at 31. But, yeah, I do feel like that should be a little lower.
I mean, come on, you're going to put Mutant Turtles Gaiden?
Look, just even on the fact of that, the Coming Out of Their Shells tour, just the music itself pushes that up a little bit. Like, the music in that, okay, if you just close your eyes and you just listen to the music's not that bad.
And how dare they? How dare they put the crossover with the Flaming Carrot on there that low? That
is pretty low. I was surprised by that one.
That one's super low.
I was surprised by that one, yeah. So, we'll include this in the show notes. Like I said, it's a series of, I think it's 5 articles. They do 7 per article to get up to number 1. So, here, let's run through the top. Let's run through the top 6 here, right quick. All right. So number 6 is the 87 animated series. Number 5, Turtles in Time, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Time from SNES. Number 4, Mirage Comics. Number 3, the Nick Turtles, 2012 Nick Turtles. Number 2, IDW Turtles. And number 1, the 1990 film Turtles.
It's hard for me to argue that.
Yeah, I think I will say, then this is Kyle Toby over there at TeenageMutantNinjaTurtles.com. I will say that I can't argue with that top 6. Yeah. I think he nailed it right there.
I don't think that Rise of the TMNT should be at number 12, but
that's pretty high. Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, and I definitely think the.
I love on the description he puts up immediately. I can already feel the hate coming my way.
Yeah, it's the jury's still out on Rise of the TMNT, I would say.
Yeah, but I mean it's right below Turtles Forever, and I feel like Turtles Forever should be like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a gap there.
Yeah.
All right. So Kevin Eastman update. He is thrilled to be self-publishing again in May. Kevin Eastman Studios will begin self-publishing once again by releasing a serialized Drawing Blood comic series and a one-shot of the radically rearranged Ronin ragdolls with much, much more to come. So, of course, this is all stemming from the Kickstarter, and he's looking forward to rejoining the self-publishing game once again. So,
I'm super excited for the variants that are going to come out of this.
Yeah. There's some good variants for sure. Yeah.
My dude Stan Sakai is going to be doing one.
Yeah, I saw that.
Multiple possibly, and I'm super excited about that.
More on Stan Sakai coming up here in a little bit. And one last thing I wanted to mention here in the random news segment is I was listening to the ENC Pod of Awesomeness. This is Edge and Christian of WWE fame. This is their podcast, and they were interviewing WWE superstar Kofi Kingston, who has had a huge career renaissance just of late. And so they asked him what where he got the inspiration for his finishing move, which is called Trouble in Paradise. And so I wanted to play that clip right now because there is a connection to the Turtles.
Please, a moment to reflect.
So, but you've also come up with some really creative stuff over the years, just in terms of, the moves you use. Where do some of those ideas come from?
So for me, I try to I watch a lot of kung fu movies and cartoons and anime and things like that. So if I see something that looks cool, I will try my hardest to do it in real life. So my Trouble in Paradise came from Ninja Turtles 2. The pizza boy, his name was Kino, and he did that kick, and you probably see it in all the martial arts movies, the spinning roundhouse, but that was the most memorable one that I saw was in Ninja Turtles 2. So when they were asking me about what finishing move I wanted to do, I was like, I wanted to do like a rock bottom type deal, but obviously I'm not the guy that should be picking a lot of guys up, being that, I'm a lightweight per se. But that Trouble in Paradise kick, that spinning roundhouse came from Keno, so.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. When I was listening to that interview, I was like, oh my gosh, Keno. And I love the fact that he called him out like by his character's name too. So, I mean, the New Day, the group that he is in. I mean, all three of them are kind of, I guess, well-known Turtle fans. So, Xavier Woods, Big E, and Kofi Kingston. So, so I just, I guess that would be a Turtles in pop culture reference. All right, with that, we don't have any video game news this week or gaming news of any sort. So let's go right into TV news. So TV news. Last time we had an episode, one might say on our last episode, we talked about the upcoming Annie Awards, the 2019 Annie Awards, and that the Rise of the TMNT was nominated in a couple of different categories. We do have an update, and it turns out that Rise of the TMNT did win one Annie Award this year. That was actually a tie with, let's see, it was for storyboarding in an animated television / broadcast production, and they actually tied with the new Mickey Mouse shorts that are out there. Which my daughter loves those.
Yeah.
And
loves those too.
Yeah, and so it was Kevin Molina Ortiz, and we actually have if you check the show notes, we actually have a tweet from him with the storyboard that won him the Annie. So check that out, and congratulations to Kevin.
Good for him. Congratulations. What? I'm serious. Look, just because I'm not a fan of the show doesn't mean these guys don't bust their ass. So they bust their ass.
That's very
They're
true.
good at what they do.
Yes.
I'm not going to give them hell because of that. They have not too much to do with it. He's a phenomenal animator. That little blurb that he put on there, little blurb, whatever the fuck you call it. Guys, it's late.
It's a little storyboard.
Yeah, no, he's a phenomenal animator. They bust their ass to do what it is they do. I'm not going to give them hell for it. I just don't happen to be a fan of the show. That's just the way that is. But yeah, good for them. Look, anytime the Turtles win something, whether we like it or we don't, it's still good for the Turtles. So it's exposure for the Turtles. The Turtles winning anything is good for the franchise.
That's right.
At the end of the day, being Turtle fans, we may not like this particular season for the Turtles, with the movies and the new show, but it doesn't mean that, things are consistently going to change, but if the Turtles stay relevant, then they will continue to produce Turtle things for years and years and years to come. So that means that Eva will eventually be able to grow up with a whole new, different version of the Turtles, and so will Elwyn. And they're going to grow up with a whole new version of the Turtles. We're going to be into a whole different version of the Turtles at some point. So it's good for them to stay relevant. It's good for them to win things like this, even if as fans we're not a fan of it. It's a good thing. It's good news. So, which is a very opposite take from what my usual takes are.
Yeah,
on this stuff.
Yeah, man, you're really. You got some.
Hey, yeah, being a dad changes the point of view on a lot of things.
Well, that is the truth right there.
Well, think about it. I don't want Eva to grow up without the Turtles like I did. I have all the old stuff that I can show her, but to have something new and relevant that she'll be talking about with her friends, that to me is cool.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, there's an appreciation of the old stuff, but like, think about like kids now, like in elementary school, middle school, whatever. They're not talking about, hey, did you guys read Spider-Man 13? You know, from the whatever. I don't know. When did Spider-Man 13 come out? The 60s? I don't know. 50s?
Sure.
I'm not sure.
Let's do that.
You get my point. They're talking about, man, did you see the trailer for the new Spider-Man movie?
Right.
They're talking about what's new, what's coming out. It's obviously, there's good to have that appreciation and that knowledge of the old stuff, and you can get into those discussions, with your friends, but that's not what's kicking off the conversation. You got to have that new thing that people enjoy. That's what's going to kick it off. So I totally agree with you. Season 1 of Rise of the TMNT, it looks like it's going to be wrapping up at the end of this month, in March. So, and so remember we were talking about trying to go back and kind of binge watch it. So it turns out like I can't watch it. Like, unless I want to like rebuy cable and the massive amount of money that it takes for that per month, I'm out of options. I've utilized every option available to me.
What do you need a login? Is that what it is for online?
Yeah.
I'll just give you my login for Cox.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that.
It's Cox Media. It's not just. Let's be clear, because I'm just throwing the word Cox around, and it's just people that don't know. It's our cable provider here in Gainesville.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk about that later. All right. Because I'm out of options. I've exhausted all of my options.
Now, there is another way to get by that involving a different type of Cox.
With that, let's get on to collecting news.
From Playmates.
All right, so we mentioned some other NECA toy news coming up. So we've got we've been talking about some of these figures here for a while, but we've got some updated release dates. The NECA quarter scale Foot Soldier and Shredder are both going to be coming out here shortly. Foot Soldier is going to be releasing this month, while the amazing Shredder, of course, these are both the 1990 film versions of these characters. They're both available now for pre-order. Like if you go over to like Entertainment Earth, you can pre-order both of these now. Again, show notes, check them out.
They both look just amazing.
Yeah. I mean, this wouldn't necessarily look good with the scale that I got, the 7-inch scale. These guys would be considerably larger. But that being said, what happened with the Turtles? If of course, if our listeners remember that the Turtles came out in this quarter scale first, and then they came out with the smaller scale. Mm-hmm. So we could see that happen again here with the Shredder and with the Foot Soldier.
Foot Soldier looks like he's about to give a handy.
His hand, there's definitely something going on with his wrist there. This is the inbox version. There's something happening there.
Yeah, the inbox version, not the pose version.
Right.
But they pose so well.
They do. They really do. Yeah. Again, show notes, but there's this great pose with the Raph and the Foot Soldier there. It looks like it's straight out of the movie. I mean, it really does.
Yeah, it must be that scene where Raph got his ass kicked by foot soldiers. Remember that?
Yeah, it wasn't one. There was like 100 of them.
It wasn't 100. There was like 20.
Come on. You guys expect to beat me.
Good answer.
Good answer. Oh, so good. All right, so leaving the 1990 NECA Turtles and moving on to the... So this was interesting. This actually leaked on Facebook. In the 2017 San Diego Comic-Con animated TMNT. This is the 1987 animated TMNT. Both the TMNT and the villains being re-released. This was leaked on Facebook. It was actually leaked on, looks like Snapchat, and then somebody screen capped it and put it up on Facebook. But and then a couple weeks later, we got the first look of the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Target 2-packs. And so there's 4 2-packs. These cost about $50 each. So the whole set will set you back $200. There's Leonardo and Shredder. There is Michelangelo and Foot Soldier, Donatello and Krang, and Raphael and Foot Soldier. And you can get these at Target right now. I've seen pics online where people are finding these in store right now. So basically, if you go to Target, there is like a NECA section. Like it's a kind of like a small section of just NECA stuff, and you'll find it in there. I'm not sure if it's with all the other toys or if it's kind of like off on the side. I mean, it probably depends store to store, but yeah, so these are available right now. So I don't know. I mean, I would say you're lucky. You got the best release. You get your favorite one and Shredder.
Yeah, you get a Foot Soldier.
Yeah, Raph gets a Foot Soldier. I don't know.
Does Mike gets a Foot Soldier?
Yeah, Mike gets a Foot Soldier also.
And Raph, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The entire snap though had me distracted because he's got freaking Masters of the Universe over here. He-Man just kind of chilling with Mario, and I'm just trying to. I'm looking at all this. It's so distracting.
Yeah, so he's referencing the leaked photo where it's this kid in his house, yeah, and he's just got toys galore here.
I'm just like, I want that castle so bad.
Yeah, Castle Grayskull, yeah. It's legit. Yeah, but why is Mario up there? Come on, kid. What are you doing?
Well, I mean, it's a kid. He doesn't have to be right.
Hey. You're
doing this wrong, kid.
What are you doing? Get Mario off of there.
Yeah, idiot. Just kidding.
Yeah, he wouldn't call me an idiot like that. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I probably won't pick this one up.
Because you got nowhere to put it.
Because I don't have anywhere to put it, and I've already got the Playmates version of these, and while these I will say these definitely look better than those Playmates versions, I can't justify having $50 for another one that looks relatively close to the other one. So yeah. Let's continue talking about some new toys from New York Toy Fair. We recently wrapped up. As always, Pixel Dan gives everyone a great walkthrough of the NECA booth, including there are some planned Bebop and Rocksteady releases for this.
They look so good.
Yeah, they do. This animated line. So this is basically kind of a continuation. So they were able to re-release these Comic-Con exclusives, to Target, and now they're going to continue that line on with a Bebop and a Rocksteady. So the release date is still TBA, but they look absolutely fantastic. Mm-hmm. So we've got that. He also talks about this Super 7 store apparently is doing a 7-inch TMNT line in the style of Masters of the Universe Classics. Yeah. And it says, plan for it to be sold via pre-order, just like Masters of the Universe. They are hoping the character selection goes deep, whatever that means. So
I don't know. You said 7-inch and deep in the same sentence, though. So
I did. Now, of course, those 1990 ones that I recently just picked up, those are that 7-inch scale as well. So this might be able to cross multiverse here, depending on what the figures available are. So we'll have to see. We'll try to keep an eye out on what's going on there. There really was not much detail available. I mean, the only thing they had was a little sign that says "Coming soon." Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on it. That's all. I saw. Yeah,
I'd like to see.
Great.
I'd like to see more along the lines of maybe some more, not necessarily obscure villains, but less popular villains, I guess. Because I mean, like, I feel like we should, like, a Baxter Stockman would be great to see, with the detail that they use, like just a Stockfly, you know. Like,
I want a really good Casey Jones.
Yeah, right. An amazing Casey Jones.
Yeah.
A wing. No, maybe not Wingnut. That might be
Wingnut and Screw Loose.
Screw. But just something more, a little more obscure. I mean,
a really
I guess
solid ace duck. You just need a really detailed. I want real feathers.
But I mean, you gotta, like, can they justify that? Are they going to sell enough of that to really justify making it?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know that much about this Super 7 store. I mean, just you can kind of see in the corner of this photo the Masters of the Universe looks pretty, I don't know, detailed. Looks pretty lifelike. So, that could be something too. That's kind of an untapped market, is making real life versions of characters that have only been represented in an animated form. I know Star Wars line has done that in the past, where they've taken animated characters, from like Clone Wars or Rebels, and then have made realistic versions of those in action figure form. So we shall see. This is pretty interesting. There's a line of cooking ware coming that is Ninja Turtle themed, and of course, the first one you have to have is the shredder.
The cheese grater.
How has this not been made before? I honestly don't know.
It's absolutely perfect. I don't know if the quality is good, but it's perfect.
It is. There's also going to be a line of, let's see, we got a roller, like a dough
pizza
roller.
cutter.
Yep, a pizza cutter and a pizza server, which look like they have like the katana handles.
Because it's the only weapon that matters.
Yep.
So, except for the roller's got a bow staff. Looks like.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Good call. Yeah, I didn't even. Yep. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Nobody cares about size.
Nobody cares about size. That's true.
At all.
It could be the fork. It'd be very simple.
It could be
a weird fork.
That's.
One last thing I want to mention here is Playmates was there. Not a lot of hype with the Playmates line at Toy Fair, but there is this now. So again, check the show notes. Do you have this pulled up? This Playmates the rundown?
Rise of the TMNT stuff.
Yeah, and there's this Instagram video that's near the top here.
Yeah, I haven't watched the video.
Go ahead and click on that, and I just want to get your live on the air reaction here. This is called Loudmouth Leo. There's a Leo and a Mike in this new line here.
I'll put them in the front shell. What the?
Okay, describe what's going on here.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if you could hear it. I didn't know if you had the audio for this. Okay. Hang on.
He's at a loss of words. He's at a loss of words. I will mention, this is the first time I've ever seen anything like this in the Turtles line. So this is something brand new that's coming out from Playmates.
Okay, so I mean, they're basically they're moving the Leo around. He's animatronic, somewhat.
Yeah, he's like a little robot.
And it's really cool. He's got a series of sensors throughout his body. You can touch him in the chest, he responds. In the head, he responds. You put a weapon in his hand, he responds. Take it out of his hand, he responds. And he's constantly moving around. He's not mobile. I don't see his legs moving, so it's just like torso and head that really moves around. So, but I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, honestly, it's a novelty.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really like it's not. I don't feel like that's something. That's something I might get. I might get my kid. I guess. And honestly, with the huge flop that they've had as far as toy sales because of Rise of the TMNT just has not risen up to the challenge of one might say when it comes to toy sales. Like, I mean, we talked about it during the Christmas season. Like, shelves were still stocked with Rise of the TMNT stuff. This might. I think they're trying to play at the, kind of like a new age kind of. I don't know. I would consider this over any of the other toys for Rise of the TMNT. That being said, I think it's still kind of lackluster. Like how old will that get? It's basically like a turtle Furby.
Turtle Furby. That's good. I didn't think about it like that.
Now, Muckman.
Yes.
Dope.
Yeah. This, and I guess this is going to be coming in Rise, I assume. So amongst all of the other toys that they showed off, they've got their old line, their new line, and several waves of this new line. Included in that is some villains that we haven't seen before, including a Muckman. I don't see Joe Eyeball there, but we've got Bullhop, the Bumbling Bull, which I think he just showed up in a recent episode of Rise. Little Meats from the Mutant Meat Sweats. We got little baby turtles again. And of course,
I don't understand why their weapons have to be baby weapons. Like it just.
Yeah.
Why is Raph obese? I didn't even know this.
He is significantly obese. Yeah, as a child.
Like, he's not even I'm a big dude, okay, but like Raph doesn't even look like he should be. Like you would think he'd look big, like bulked up. He looks just big. Like, look at the scale on if you go up right underneath the Bullhop announcement where they have the 4 turtles.
Yep.
Look at the size of them.
Oh yeah. Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah. They're reintroducing the like the Ninja Flip ones. It's interesting, following the Playmates line over all the years. Whether it's the the original run, the 2003 run, the Nick Turtles run, and now we're in the Rise of the TMNT run, and there's certain aspects of or certain versions of the Turtles that just keep coming back. The battle shell, where you open the shell up and they keep their weapons inside the shell, that has been in every single version. This Ninja Flip version where you bend them in half, and then there's a spring inside, and they try to do a flip, and it never lands. So that's coming back. There is a new Leo version where it's the same general concept, except he spins and does a kick or something. They're doing big versions of the battle shell.
God, I just scroll through here and I just see Splinter again, and I just hate it so much.
Yeah.
I just hate it so much. Look, again, I get it. And there are many of us who aren't fans of this series, but I'm just going to go off here, just leaving toys for a second. We went from having the 2K12 Splinter, which is, man, that might be one of my favorite Splinters of all time.
Oh, yeah. So respected. You respected that character,
man, and the tragedy and just everything, with that character. With
Karai and everything. I mean, yeah,
it might be the best version of Splinter we've ever seen on TV or movies. It's up there.
There is an argument to be made right there. Absolutely.
And then we got this.
We got this.
Look, this looks like something like from Secret of Nim or some sort of like straight to TV movie like from back in the 80s where it's like, hey, here's the jolly fat rat.
Yeah.
To provide you comic relief. Not a respect. I don't know. You know what? It's done. It is what it is. Eventually we'll have another series and everything will be back fine. Everything will be okay.
Here's something I don't understand too while we're on the topic here. If you scroll all the way down here on this article, this is over at comicspeed.com. They have, again, something that's recycled every time, the play assortment, role playing stuff. They have Raph with the size and they have Mikey with the nunchucks. They don't use those in this show. Like those were, you scroll up, you never see a rat. Now, except for the baby turtles, because that actually makes sense. Because in the first episode of this series, they get rid of the old weapons, they get the new ones. But every other version of the turtles, it shows that these newer weapons. They do get the Leo, right, with the one big sword. And then Donnie's still got his weird staff, whatever. I mean, right. I feel bad for any kid who's got this bow staff. It looks like I don't even know what. It's like a wand.
Well, I know what it looks like, but we won't get to that.
It's terrible. It's really bad. So anyway.
And then the masks. The masks just look terrible.
I don't know, man.
Not the masks with the weapons, but if you scroll down, the actual turtle face mask.
Yeah, like the actual face masks.
And just look at Donatello. That's how that kid should feel.
Oh. So you got to see this. Yeah. Okay. So Raph's got this kind of
snaggletooth.
Snaggletooth look. Mikey's smiling. Leo's smiling, and Don. He looks very sad. He looks depressed. He really does. I don't know how else to say it.
It's the worst thing I've ever seen.
I didn't even notice this until you brought it up. He looks really depressed. He looks like he needs a hug.
It's just and this is the complete opposite. I mean, obviously it's a different series, but usually Raph is the one that's not smiling. Every single character is smiling in this except for Donnie, who just looks miserable.
Yeah, it's really weird. Miserable. Wow, I did not even notice that until you mentioned it. It is very true. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's talk outside the box here. Should TMNT and Playmates break up?
Yeah. Well,
is it time?
That was quick. That was
really fast.
Man, there's just so much better stuff out there now, but you need to keep it affordable too, right?
There's the history, but at the same time,
here's the thing: you need to keep that stuff affordable. Parents are going to buy the Playmate stuff for their kids. They're not going to buy the NECA stuff for their kids. Not usually, not typically, or any of the other stuff. So, what do? You have to have a bargain brand. Yeah. And Playmates is the bargain brand. Playmates used to not be the bargain brand when we were growing up.
That's true.
But that's what they are now.
That's a very good point. Very good point. All right, Playmates, you're off the hook. Alex says you're okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
All right, you're fine. All right. Let's leave collecting news and head into comics news.
I strike 2 on my way down. Donatello takes out a third with his staff. Already the pudgy ones are starting to panic. Raph loves this stuff. He's not alone.
Why is he narrating? Is he crazy? Hardcore crazy. I love these guys!
Well, we've got some new comics to announce. Well, I guess we're not announcing, but we're relaying the announcement. DC and IDW have announced that Batman and the TMNT are once again teaming up for Batman TMNT 3. This is going to be coming out this May as part of the 80th anniversary of Batman and the 35th anniversary of the TMNT. The same team that worked on the previous two incarnations are back, with some help, of course, from Kevin Eastman. And there was a side announcement that came with this as well, but we'll be talking about that in the movie news section. What? Movie news? We'll talk about that here in a moment. Usagi Yojimbo, we mentioned that earlier. We got some news there. Usagi Yojimbo is actually going to be moving from Dark Horse to IDW.
Gosh,
That's right.
They've been with Dark Horse for so long.
So long, yeah. I mean, a staple there, and they're moving over to IDW. You have to assume this is due to the relationship with the Turtles in IDW. I mean, we just had that new release last year with the Usagi and Turtles crossover. So this is going to be a monthly series starting in June of 2019. And this was on the New York Times. I mean, this was a big deal. So with Usagi Yojimbo now being part of IDW Publishing, we would think that there's going to be far more crossovers in the future. Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, not just potentially, not just in like one-off specials, but we could. I mean,
like a City Fall series.
Yeah, you could see a series. You could see Usagi becoming a character, like an ongoing character. I mean, that's a total possibility. Much in the way that he was, through the various other incarnations, where he would just show up in a Turtles comic and be in a Turtles episode. I mean, we had the Nick Turtles, the 2012, what was it, 3-episode special there in the last season. Yeah, that was an awesome. I mean, I was just listening to somebody else say that they thought that was the best part of the entire series. So yeah, I mean, this is big news. This is big news for sure. I wanted to mention Dragonfly and Hellride. This is a Kickstarter by TMNT comics artist Jim Lawson. I mean, I almost feel like that's not a big enough title for him. I mean, if you've read Turtles comics, there's a pretty good chance you've seen Jim Lawson's work. So, but he's started a new Kickstarter. This is going to be a set of 2 comics, one technically a trade paperback and the other a graphic novel. It has hit its goal already, and there's still a little over a week left. So if you'd like to get in on this, there's 11 days to go as we're recording this. And like I said, it did hit its goal. So this is definitely getting made. So congrats to Jim, and it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this. So obviously we were just mentioning Kevin's taking that Kickstarter and turning it into a whole new series. So we might get that here. TMNT 35th anniversary box set. We don't normally mention kind of re-releases on the podcast here, just because there's so many of them. But I did want to mention this because it does have an oversized format, which is a little bit out of the ordinary. It's going to be in their original 8-inch by 10-inch dimensions. Going to be enclosed in a box with new artwork from Kevin Eastman. So I should mention it does collect TMNT Volume 1 issues 1 through 4 plus the Raph micro series, all from Mirage. So this is going to be available May 22nd at $50. Comics release schedule. Let's run through this right quick. IDW Series 91, out now. 92, coming out March 20th. Shredder in Hell, number 1, out now. Number 2 of 5, releasing March 13th. TMNT Casualty of War. We mentioned this on our last episode. This is for the Free Comic Book Day issue. This is going to be coming out May 4th. Rise of the TMNT number 5 is available now, and it actually appears to be the final issue of this series. I wonder if there's a connection there with the performance of the TV show. As we mentioned earlier, TMNT Batman number 3, volume 3, I should say, issue 1 coming out May 1st. On the Mirage front, volume 7 of the Ultimate Collection has been delayed to May 29th, and I do still have that pre-ordered. No update yet on Tales of the TMNT volume 2 being re-released. Still, I think they're still out on the 8th of the re-releases there. So stay tuned for updates there. Urban Legends, this is, of course, the Image Volume 3. Issue 10 is out now. Number 11 is coming March 27th. There were 23 issues there, and then, of course, we'll have a 3-issue story arc to officially conclude that volume. We mentioned earlier the Kevin Eastman Studios. We can now say that as an official studio. Got Drawing Blood, Spilled Ink, number 1 of 4, releasing May 8th, as well as the RRRR, number 1. Dark Horse, we mentioned Dark Horse earlier and how Usagi's leaving, but Dark Horse does still have a upcoming TMNT release. That would be the Art of TMNT hardcover, available May 29th. This is the Ciro Nieli art book that's going to be coming out from them. And yes, on the Archie front, I think we mentioned this on the last episode, but the final TMNT Adventures Volume 16 trade paperback from IDW is out now. That collects issues 67 through 72. That's out now. And no news on any of the seasonal or Mighty Mutanimals or April specials there. So with that, let's get on to some really big news here. Movie news. All right, so in our last episode, we talked about the Waxworks Records vinyl release for the score of the 1990 film. They have now announced a CD release of that same score, so lucky me, now I can get it and not just have just a decoration, but I can actually listen to it. So I think I pre-ordered this. Yes, I think I did, but I have not. I don't think I've heard an actual release date of it yet. So that is available. Check out the link in the show notes if you'd like to pick up a CD copy. If you're not, super cool like Alex and have a vinyl player, record player. Do people still call it a record player?
Yeah, that's what it's commonly known as because it plays records. So.
But nobody says hey, did you check out this new record I got? They say check out this sweet vinyl release I got or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but those are usually the people you want to punch in the face.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm super excited about this though. This is something that I definitely want to pick up. The artwork is just vintage Eastman, and then this is just such a great soundtrack.
Yes. Oh yeah, to die for, no doubt.
Yeah.
So I don't know how else to put this. We have not one, not two, but three. Count them, 3 new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies in the works.
And they may not all suck.
They may not all suck. It's a big may, but I got a good feeling about this. All right, so let's talk about the first one, the theatrical reboot. We discussed it on our last episode. We've talked about it in episodes past. We did get confirmation from producer Brad Fuller that this will be a Platinum Dunes production. If you remember our last episode, I did reach out to them and hadn't received word back yet. We weren't
are
sure.
Big time people. That's how big we are.
I mean, it's
producers of A Quiet Place are messaging us.
That's a good movie.
It was a really good movie.
So yeah, I don't know if this is good news or if this is bad news. It's news because that means that once again Michael Bay is going to be involved. So take that to mean whatever you want it to mean. It doesn't necessarily mean we're getting another 2014 movie, but there's a certain.
Oh, we
amount
probably
of,
are.
There's a certain amount of something that comes with that. So let's just leave it at that, and let's talk about number 2, a Rise of the TMNT movie coming to Netflix. This came out, I think it was during an investors call or something with Viacom. But we get the link over to Deadline.com where they kind of break it down. But basically, Nickelodeon and Netflix have set a deal for Nickelodeon Studios to produce 2 original animated feature films, one for The Loud House and one for Rise of the TMNT. The films are based on the Nickelodeon properties but do not involve the TV series, Viacom said. That's really weird. The only thing I can think of what that means is that it's in the universe, but it's not like necessarily part of the storyline. Like it's almost kind of like a micro series, if you want to equate it to something like in the comics. So it's like a side story, like it's not going to necessarily involve, like you don't need to watch the previous episodes to know what's going on in this one. That's my guess, but interesting that they would go with a Rise of the TMNT here for Netflix. Obviously, we know that Netflix is going to be losing a lot of its Marvel and Disney content, so they're looking to backfill with new content, and then they decided to work with Nickelodeon to come up with a Rise of the TMNT movie. So it'll be interesting to see what this turns into. Is it just going to just feel like a long episode of the series? Is it going to be a little bit something different? We'll just have to wait and see. I don't think we have a date on that either, so we'll update everyone when we hear some news.
I'm excited that Rise of the TMNT is going to be to Netflix.
Really?
Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's excellent exposure for people who don't. I mean, your scenario is perfect. Now, granted, it's the movie, but the movies that they're producing for it, but it's a perfect example of exposure that we were just talking about previously. And then who knows? Like, this could open the door to maybe start getting certain series on Netflix. I don't know if that's going to happen. That may be way too much for me to hope for at this point. But it would be nice if we would end up with certain series on certain platforms that are widely viewed on a regular basis.
Right. So that's a good point. So let's take a quick survey here of what we have available. So the 87 series is not streaming anywhere, right?
Correct.
The 2003 series is not streaming anywhere,
which is the biggest injustice of all time.
Yeah. The Next Mutation is streaming on Netflix.
Mm-hmm. It sure is.
The 2012 series is streaming on Hulu. Mm-hmm. And Rise is not streaming anywhere, except on the Nick app, which you have to have a login for.
Right.
So interesting. Okay. Yeah, that would. You might see something like that where Nickelodeon, partners up with Netflix and says, "Okay, all Ninja Turtle series are now on Netflix."
That's hoping for a lot. That's probably not what's going to happen. They'll probably put whatever current series, if that, or previous series. Like, I'd love to just have the 2K12 series on there. Just having the 2K12 series on there, like at the, because I mean, it's not like they're making it a point to make these. Well, let's forget about the Blu-rays. To make these DVDs. Right, and it's not something that promoting, and it's probably not something they're making a ton of money on. So why bother, like, having all this hardware, producing all this hardware, and essentially maybe even taking a bit of a loss or making not as much of a profit on this hardware when you can just stream it through a company like Netflix and loan them the rights to it for, I don't know, however many years and get a little bit of money. Like, it just makes sense.
Yeah. I honestly don't understand why any company doesn't put stuff on available for stream. I mean, whether it's through a another company like a Netflix, or just available on their own service and just put commercials on it. And don't even charge, don't even make people, charge. It's not doing anything. Their 87 series, the 2003 series, they're nowhere. What does it hurt to, put it up on their own Ninja Turtles website, and just say, here's all the episodes, play them as much as you want, and there's just going to be commercials in them, which we'll make money off of.
Right.
How does that not happen? I honestly don't. I don't get it. I digress. Okay, so moving on. Number 3, Batman TMNT crossover movie. This is an exclusive from sci-fi.com. This is going to be a animated adaptation of the first Batman TMNT comic book crossover. Okay, first, have we seen something like this in Ninja Turtles before? Have we seen I mean, you could make an argument that the 1990 film was almost like a remake of the Mirage series, but they really kind of took a bunch of pieces apart from Mirage and kind of stuck them together. Whereas this is like a very like well-defined, like this volume, which is this set of comics, and here's the beginning, here's the end. Turn that into a movie. I don't think we've ever seen that in Ninja Turtles before. Right. Okay. And yet, this is something that people have been asking for forever. I mean, for the theatrical release, how many people have just said, including Kevin Eastman, have said they should just make IDW into a movie. Just do it. Like,
God,
you know what I mean? Like, this has been something that people. This concept has been something that people have been requesting for decades.
Yeah, but we're getting the concept, but are we getting what we want from that?
Execution is a different question. That's very true. So let's run down some of the details here. It is based on the comic book miniseries. Voice cast, loaded with voice cast pros here. Troy Baker, who's playing both Batman and Joker. Darren Criss, which is the Emmy Award-winning star of The Assassination of Gianni Versace. Raphael, he's going to be playing Raphael. Kyle Mooney from Saturday Night Live as Michelangelo. Baron Vaughn from Grace and Frankie, which is a show on Netflix, as Donatello. Eric Bauza as Leonardo. Rachel Bloom from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend as Batgirl. Tom Kenny, SpongeBob, hello, as the Penguin. John DiMaggio, hello. A million voices, including Bender. Adventure Time. He's going to be playing Mr. Freeze. Tara Strong from another perennial voice actor, Powerpuff Girls, playing both Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. This one's great. From Reno 911, Carlos Alzaraki as Bane, and Kaz Anvar as Ra's al Ghul.
It just makes me so happy because that means Bane is going to be Cuban again.
Yes.
So,
I mean, voice cast, I think they've nailed it here.
Yeah.
Release 4K, Blu-ray, and digital late this spring. Rated PG-13.
Okay. The animation. But I mean, the rating that's hopeful, right? PG-13 for an animated movie. That's hopeful.
Yeah.
The animation is throwing me off a little bit. It doesn't mean it's not going to be good. It's just throwing me off a little bit from what I've seen as far as, it's not necessarily matching. And you can't expect the actual comic to come to life. Like, you can't expect that. The amount of work and time that goes into creating a panel, on a comic, as opposed to the type of animation that you
So that's a good point. Yeah. So we do have some stills from the from what it's going to look like. The animation style does not match what was in the comic books. It is a different style of artwork. But it is the same. I guess you could say it's the writers that are the same. So
I just wanted to see. So here's the thing: DC they're not known for their live action movies, but for their animated movies, man, they kill it. They kill it. They're phenomenal. The Red Hood, just so on and so forth. Bad Blood. You can just go on and on and on and on. DC animated movies are great. This is not looking hopeful based on the DC movies that I've seen, the type of animation that I've seen. It's kind of weird for me, and this isn't always the case. So, but with DC, it's kind of easy to judge a book on its cover with them, and you see the animation, you can almost tell whether or not it's going to be a quality DC animated movie or a not so good quality, DC animated movie. So this is kind of on the border of that. I was hoping they would go gritty. They would go darker with it. That's not saying they won't, but right off the bat, it's popping. There's too much color popping.
Gray, blue, and gold Batman.
I know. And maybe this is just like I would say it was just, maybe it's just for this scene. But then you got you got Robin, you got Batgirl in her old school dreads and everything as well.
It is nice to see just Ninja Turtles, just looking like Ninja Turtles, though.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that.
They're not, and they have all kinds of crazy ass like decorations on them, and they just look like Ninja Turtles. They're just
Ninja Turtles, and I dig the way they look. I think each one of them looks unique. I think each one of them, their actual look.
I think they got the color, the colors of green. I think they got the right.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. I would be able to look at these turtles. Let's assume in this picture they had no weapons and no bandanas. I would still be able to tell who's who.
Ah, yeah.
Because I feel like they nailed their personalities in the way they depicted the turtles. Like, I could tell that's Donnie 100%.
Yeah, right.
I could tell that's Raph 100%. I could tell that's Mikey 100%, and I could tell that's Leo because he looks just tired and worn from having to deal with all the other three on a daily basis. But I just feel like they really nailed it.
Yeah, it's I am really looking forward to this, and so are you, Turtle Power Podcast listeners. So we put it out to both Twitter and Facebook, and in both cases, this is the movie that you are looking forward to the most. I would say that the TMNT Batman crossover being the most. The film that you're looking forward to the most. Secondly would be the Platinum Dunes theatrical release, and then in last place, the Rise of the TMNT release. So,
where we are.
I guess I'm not surprised on those results, but interesting either way. So
I'm still hopeful. I'm still hopeful, and I'm really hoping we get a good movie out of this because, man, we're in dire need for a decent TMNT movie.
Absolutely. And I mean, hey, I'll be banging this Blu-ray drum forever, and we're finally getting it, and it took DC to actually make it happen. So thank you, DC.
Don't expect this to be a regular thing. We're not going to see 2K3 all of a sudden, or even 2K12 on Blu-ray. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know, man. Like, you never know what could happen. Maybe DC buys TMNT.
It's not going to happen.
You never know down the line.
It's not going to happen. Okay, here, I did miss this. I missed one of the stills.
Okay.
I missed one of the stills. It's the one where the Batman's in the air. The batarangs hit the pole, and they're looking and staring up to Batman.
Yes.
Who's in the silhouette of the moon.
Yes.
That's more along the lines of what I'm hoping for.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that's a hopeful still for me.
Yeah.
Like that's good. That looks good.
This picture I got off of I think it was IMDb actually. I think is where I found that photo. It was not part of the sci-fi release. So yeah. I'm looking forward to this for sure. Like again, we don't have an exact date yet, but it does say late spring.
Hey,
so
interesting to note here. Did you notice that Leo's katanas aren't sheathed on in the back of his shell?
They're on the side. Yeah, that's wasn't the 2012 Leo?
Was it?
I think he had them on. Or no. Sorry, no. They were both on the back, but they were both on the one side.
That's right.
That's what it was.
That's what it was.
But yeah, no. This is more like what Usagi does this, where he has them both on like the hip on the one side. Yep. Very cool. All right. Well, obviously we'll be updating you all when we hear more, but we went from who knows what the future of Turtles movies was going to be to now having 3 TMNT movies in production. I can't wait. Definitely going to experience all of these, and we will be bringing you our thoughts when these finally make it to our screens. So with that, let's get on to some mutated messages.
Sounds weird when he says it.
Sounds weird when you say it.
Let's see, Daredevil 19 wanted to let us, or he sent us this YouTube link to a review of the first Gouken Rokusaki Shredder action figure toy review. The price of this thing is anywhere from $120 to $160 because I think it's only available in Japan, so you have to get it shipped over here, but to the States. But I think we've mentioned this. I want to say a year ago, maybe even longer, that this was going to be in production, but it is now available.
I just don't see it. I mean, granted, the display for it, like the way they have their they have that the weapon rack.
Yes,
is pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
The weapon rack is pretty dope. I gotta say. But I don't know, $160 just seems a little steep for that.
It's a lot. It is a lot. Keith Lane I think he was going back and listening to some of our older episodes, and he wanted to let us know that, I guess we were talking about TMNT Adventures issue 17. He says, oh man, that cover was classic, one of my faves as a kid too. Kyle McManus, that Kyle McManus on Twitter says, love the new episode, guys. Would be fantastic to see a new movie with the same style and tone as the 90s flick. Oh yeah. I mean, I think everyone would love to see a movie with that same style. I don't know if we could, I don't know if anyone could pull that off in today's Hollywood. If somebody were to go and be like, I want to make a Ninja Turtles movie that's got this same feel as that original 1990 film,
you can replicate it.
I don't think anyone could do it.
It's going to stand on its own forever, and it is going to be forever, in my opinion, one of those gems that will forever hold the test. Like it will be timeless. It will be 100% timeless. It's incredible that movie holds up today just as well as it did back in 1990. It looks just as good today compared to everything else with all the CGI and everything as it did in the 1990s. It's just phenomenal.
And you can actually now watch that movie, the 91 Secret of the Ooze, the 93 Turtles. I guess the Turtles 3 never actually had a moniker with it. It was just Turtles 3, but I mean, we can call it Turtles in Time. And then also the 2007 animated TMNT movie. You can actually watch all of those now on Vudu. Voodoo.com, and just do a search for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you can actually watch all three of those for free now. There will be ads involved, but this is actually kind of goes back to what we were talking about with that 87 series or the 2003 series. Like, I mean, Voodoo's doing it right here with those original movies, the first 4 Ninja Turtle movies. Anybody can go watch them. You just go and watch them right now. There'll be commercials, but who cares? You know, like for if you just want to be like, you know, you meet somebody and they're like, you know, what's a Ninja Turtle? And like for some reason they've never, you know, they just arrived to this planet, and you're like, oh, here, I got to show you some movies. And for some reason they know what movies are, and they're like, well, I don't want to pay for movies because of course they assume that you have to pay for those movies. And you're like, oh no, you can actually watch it on Voodoo.com right now. For free. You're like, really? I mean, you don't have to pay for it at all. I was like, oh, no. You have to watch some commercials, so somebody's making some money. But to you, it's just time. You can do this right now at voodoo.com. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, that was perfect. So good.
Shout out to Tiger Claw 305, by the way, to let us know that those movies were available on Vudu. Bert the Stormtrooper wanted to let us know that these new NECA TMNT figures are beautiful. So happy to finally have them. And I think he's got a review up already. So check at Bert the Stormtrooper. Stephen R. Jackson, or Steve J205 on Twitter. Man, this is the second wrestling crossover in this episode. Congratulations to the official Honky Tonk Man on being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. That's right, the Honky Tonk Man. He's the Honky Tonk Man. Has been and is being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this year, and he included this photo of the Honky Tonk Man with the aforementioned Coming Out of Their Shells tour. Man, there's all kinds of throwbacks on this episode. Yeah, so it looks like Raph and Mikey, and they are basically harassing the Honky Tonk Man. I assume that this is in, let's see here. It says, when the Honky Tonk Man, who is managed by Jimmy Mouth of the South Hart, who I actually met in Tampa, attempted to sing the hit song Honka Honka Honky Love on NBC's Friday Night Videos. He was besieged by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Disliking the song, they prevented the wrestler from crooning it. Cowabunga, dude. And they spelled Cowabunga with a K.
Cowabunga with a K.
Ridiculous. I don't know who made this, but... Oh, this was WWF Magazine. Wow. From January 1991. Wow.
I changed my Twitter handle, FYI.
So Cowabunga 1984. Alex Rodriguez. There it is.
Yes. So I got rid of it's what I use. It's like my PSN name is Cowabunga 84, and 84 was already taken. But anyway, the old one, I don't use it for it. Like I don't remember that handle for anything because it's the only one. It's the only It doesn't match anything else I have in my life. Mm-hmm. So I switched to something that I already have, and I got rid of Facebook. So I'm only
Attaboy. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's just so terrible. So I'm only going to be on Twitter now, and occasionally Instagram, I suppose, but predominantly Twitter.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So
you can find Alex over at twitter.com/Cowabunga1984. you know, it's been a while since we've had iTunes reviews, and I know like every podcast asks its listeners to write reviews, and nobody ever does it. I'm guilty of that as well. So we're going to try to entice our listeners to leave us a review on iTunes. Basically, what we need you to do, or what we would like you to do, is go ahead over on iTunes, leave us a review, and then email us that you left a review and what your what name your review is under. And if you want to screenshot it, if that's easier, you can do that. And then, you know, so let us know what review is yours.
And it'll enter you in a drawing for $1 million.
$1 million Republic credits.
Republic.
Wrong franchise. So we'll randomly select a name amongst all the reviewers, and you're going to be winning a vintage carded TMNT action figure, courtesy of Nickelodeon and Viacom. So that is going to be it for this episode of the Turtle Power Podcast. Did want to mention our friends over at TMNT Minute. They were on hiatus, but are going to be coming back here shortly to conclude TMNT 2 by the minute. Turtle Soup, their most recent episode 194, is called Josh Gropin and the Black Hole Boys, which is they cover TMNT Adventures issues 47 and 48. Friends over at Turtle Flakes, they've spun off a new series called Turtle Tales, which is basically just going to be talking about Tales of the TMNT.
So good.
Yeah. I know that's one of your faves for sure. Episode 127 over there is a interview with Michael DeLanus, which is I don't know if he's the writer and artist for IDW issue 91, but I'm like halfway through that interview. It's very good. Turtle Tracks podcast. This is also a spin-off from Turtle Flakes. Host Brian Van Hooker interviews prominent figures behind the scenes in TMNT with the latest episode, number 10, featuring our good buddy Kevin Eastman. TMNT Dare Talk. So Christian, the host over there, actually recently introduced episodes in English to his podcast feed. So episode 3 features a discussion on Shredder in Hell number 1 and Rise of the TMNT episode Bull Hop. That was released March 7th, and I think his German episode 193 was just released, I think, today.
We should do our episodes in German.
We should. First step, learn German. You first. You go first.
You don't want me to do that. You don't want me to drive.
Okay, no, serious question. How many Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles podcasts are available in Spanish?
Bueno, yo pienso que a lo mejor una o dos. No mucho. All
right, there we go. I can tell you that there are none available in Irish, like in Celtic. There are zero available.
There's probably a good reason for that, though. I don't know if
tis the season. We got St. Patty's Day coming up here.
How do you say the good old turtles? They don't really fancy the Irishman. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you what.
I assume they were the hero turtles in Ireland as well.
Well, maybe it's a possibility.
That's pretty good.
Oh, they might have been doing a little bit of you know.
That's good. You're definitely almost Irish.
Well, hey, I lived in a big Irish neighborhood in Chicago, which is like Little Ireland. So, you know, it rubs off a little bit. You know.
Dude, that's actually really good. You got the Irish down.
So here's the trick to the Irish accent, right? So you just have to exhale while you talk, and just talk with like upper inflection. You know, that's all you do.
Oh, sure. I know you have to say, like, if you're going to say Ireland, it has to sound like almost like a O sound. So like Ireland.
Ireland.
It's like oil land.
I come from nowhere.
Hey,
Ireland.
the turtles are. Do you know why the turtles are Irish?
Oh, what's this?
Oh, it's because they're all green. Sure. That's a new Ninja Turtles podcast called Shellheads over at Reality Breached. This is a new podcast hosted by Jeff and Sergio. Their latest episode, number 6, covers retro TMNT video games. I just started listening to that. It's pretty good.
I love to see all these. It's such a great community.
It is. It is.
The turtle community in general.
Everyone's very. I definitely, it's hard to convey to listeners, but I'm cursory related to other franchise podcasts, and even in that cursory relationship, I know that it can get pretty nasty. And I mean, it's silly because everybody's talking about how they all like the same thing, but then they all get pissed off at each other. But in the Turtles fandom, it has been nothing but everybody helping out everybody. So, and I definitely want to be that way is forever. Let's just go ahead and say that. So, and yeah, looks like that is all the updates for TMNT podcasts out there. Song of the show is going to be this one I found. Gosh, I don't even know how I found this, but this is over at magicmusicx.com, and this is a remix for TMNT Neon Knight Riders from the aforementioned, another callback, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Time from the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Alex, this has been great, man. Look at that. Yeah, we killed it in time-wise, too.
I was just looking at it. We're still under 2 hours, which is the rarest, weirdest thing ever.
Listeners, you're welcome. I mean...
This is what happens when Darby's not on the show. We actually get to what we need to get to.
Yes. I mean, I know, man. Like, I don't know. I kind of get this feeling like you and Darby are just not getting along too well these days.
Well, that's what happens when you're an asshole, man.
Wow. All right. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've known Darby a long time. I know he can come off as kind of harsh, but he's. I feel like he's got a good heart.
Well, sure.
Okay.
That's what you want to call it. All right. Yeah, I think we should probably wrap this up, huh?
All right. Yeah. Okay. I guess we'll wrap it up. Alex, as always, it's great to talk to you, and I'm sure we'll be seeing each other soon. I'm sure we'll have to go to Disney or something. We do need to make our way up to Gainesville here soon. So.
Well, I'll be down your way on the 16th. So.
Ooh. All right. We'll talk.
We'll get into that after that.
All right.
After the show.
All right. After show.
Yep.
So, once again, thank you for joining us for another episode of the Turtle Power Podcast. We will talk to you next time.
This program is powered by Tascam. Tascam's Mini Studio Creator US42 is your new personal production and online broadcast studio featuring a professional quality audio interface and a number of unique real-time effects. The Mini Studio Creator delivers everything you need for your podcast or webcast. Find out more at Tascam.com, part of the Gibson family of brands.